Welcome back to the Global Facts Podcast for our second episode.
Number
Is you
2.
ready for another deep dive?
Always.
All right. This time we're heading down to South America, to a land of rainforests and rhythms and
Oh, yeah. Beaches and...
carnivals.
That's right. We're talking Brazil.
Brazil.
Get ready to uncover some seriously surprising facts about this fascinating country.
That'll be fun.
Did you know that 10% of all the species we know about on Earth call Brazil home?
It's a lot of biodiversity.
Or that their capital city was literally built from scratch?
From scratch, like a real-life SimCity project.
Yeah, just built it up.
Crazy.
We'll explore all that and more, but for those of you who want even more Brazilian trivia, after our deep dive today, check out the book, 100 Amazing Facts About Brazil, From Samba to the Amazon Forests.
Great book.
Yeah, but first let's start with the basics. Brazil is huge, EE.
Huge doesn't even begin to cover it.
Really?
Imagine 30 Californias all smushed together,
Whoa.
and you're starting to get the picture.
Not only is it the 5th largest country in the world by area,
Wow.
but it also boasts the 5th largest population.
That's crazy.
Talk about a heavyweight contender.
Yeah, it really puts things in perspective. And speaking of vastness, we can't talk about Brazil without mentioning the Amazon.
You got that right.
The Amazon.
Brazil holds a whopping 60% of the Amazon basin, the Earth's largest rainforest.
Whoa.
And winding through it all is the mighty Amazon River.
The Amazon.
It carries more water than any other river on the planet.
That's got to be like a lot of water.
It's an insane amount of water.
An ecosystem that massive must be incredibly important for the whole planet, not just Brazil.
Absolutely. The Amazon is a global climate regulator and biodiversity hotspot.
Huge.
It's like the Earth's air conditioner and genetic library all rolled into one.
So important.
This rainforest absorbs an insane amount of carbon dioxide,
Which helps.
which helps stabilize our climate.
Right.
And the sheer variety of plants and animals found there is crucial for maintaining a healthy planet.
So no pressure, Brazil.
Nope.
It's clear that the Amazon deserves all the protection it can get. But Brazil's natural wonders don't stop there, do they?
Oh, they do not.
We've got the Pantanal wetlands, the incredible Iguazu Falls.
And don't forget about Pico da Neblina, Brazil's highest peak, which reaches almost 10,000 feet above sea level.
10,000 feet.
Imagine going from dense, humid rainforest to these towering peaks in the space of a few days.
It's a trip.
That's the kind of diversity Brazil offers: rainforests, mountains, wetlands, and over 4,500 miles of coastline.
Whoa. That's like they have every landscape imaginable.
They really do.
Okay, so we've established that Brazil is geographically blessed, but what about its history?
Well,
It was a Portuguese colony for centuries, wasn't it?
that's right, from 1500 to 1822.
Whoa.
Portugal ruled the roost.
And
The country's name actually comes from the pau-brasil tree,
Yeah.
which was highly prized by the Portuguese for its red dye.
so that's where the name comes from.
Exactly.
And it gained independence in 1822.
Yep, on September 7th, to be precise.
September 7th, all right. And
But their journey to becoming the Brazil we know today was marked by some pretty major events.
such as,
One of the biggest was the abolition of slavery in 1888.
which, if I remember correctly, was pretty late in the game, right?
Yeah, it was.
Weren't they the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery?
Unfortunately, yes.
Wow.
The legacy of colonialism and slavery still has a huge impact on modern-day Brazil.
Right.
It's a complicated history, to say the least.
It's a stark reminder that beauty and progress don't always come easy. But from that complex history came a culture that's incredibly vibrant and unique.
You can say that again?
When I think of Brazil, I think of Samba Carnival, that infectious energy.
It's a culture that embraces joy and celebration like nowhere else.
For sure.
Think pulsating rhythms, exuberant dance moves, and flamboyant costumes.
I love it.
And let's not forget the food. Feijoada, anyone.
Now you're talking that hearty stew of beans and pork is a Brazilian classic, right?
It's as Brazilian as it gets.
Oh, and of course, we can't forget about their coffee.
Right.
Brazil is the world's largest coffee producer.
I mean, they basically invented coffee.
Yeah, so it's basically a national obsession.
It's a way of life.
And they say Brazilian coffee is some of the best in the world.
Oh, it is.
So we've got stunning nature, a rich history, and a vibrant culture.
It's the whole package.
But Brazil is more than just beaches and samba, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a major player on the global stage in terms of economics and politics.
For sure.
So tell me more about that.
Well, it's a member of the BRICS nations,
BRICS nations.
a group of emerging economies that includes Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
Okay.
That alone speaks volumes about Brazil's growing economic power.
Right. So let's talk economics.
Yeah.
What are some of Brazil's key industries and exports?
Well, they're the world's leading producer of sugarcane and oranges.
Oranges.
Picture endless fields of citrus and sugarcane stretching as far as the eye can see.
That's a lot of juice.
They're also a major exporter of soybeans, beef, and iron ore.
Iron ore.
And of course, we can't forget about Petrobras, their state-owned oil and gas giant.
Petrobras. That name rings a bell.
It's one of the largest companies in Latin America.
Whoa.
Its operations have a huge impact on the Brazilian economy.
Both good and bad, I'm sure.
Both good and bad.
Okay.
But here's something interesting.
Tell me.
Brazil is also a leader in renewable energy, particularly hydroelectricity.
Really?
They share the Itaipu Dam with Paraguay,
Yeah, Taipu Dam.
one of the largest hydroelectric dams in the world.
That's impressive. So they're making strides in both traditional and renewable energy.
They are.
It seems like Brazil really is a land of contrasts, bustling cities alongside vast agricultural lands, economic potential, alongside some serious challenges.
You've got it.
So interesting.
It's a complex mix of modern advancements and deep-rooted traditions, economic strengths, and social complexities.
You really can't put Brazil in a box.
You can't.
It's always defying expectations,
Always.
which makes it all the more fascinating to explore. Now let's shift our focus to their government and people.
Right.
Brazil's a federal republic, right?
That's right.
Similar to the United States.
Very similar.
Okay?
They have 26 states and a federal district.
26 states.
And get this, their capital city, Brasilia, was literally built from scratch in the late 1950s.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously.
An entire capital city built from nothing.
From nothing.
Tell me more.
It's a one-of-a-kind city. The visionary architect Oscar Niemeyer and urban planner Lucio Costa designed Brasilia with modernism and functionality at the forefront.
Okay.
It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, now renowned for its striking architecture and innovative urban planning.
I'm adding Brasilia to my travel bucket list right now.
You should.
It sounds unlike any other city on Earth. So what about the people?
Well,
What are some notable characteristics of Brazilian society?
Brazilians are famous for their warmth, hospitality, and love of life.
Okay.
It's a culture that embraces joy and celebrates diversity.
Love that.
And they have a strong sense of national pride, symbolized by their vibrant flag.
Speaking of their flag, I've always been curious about its symbolism. What do the colors and design represent?
Well, the green stands for the lush forests that cover so much of Brazil.
The Amazon.
Think Amazon.
Okay.
And the yellow represents the country's vast mineral resources.
Mineral resource.
So think gold.
Okay.
And that blue circle with the starry sky represents the heavens over Rio de Janeiro on the day the Republic of Brazil was proclaimed.
Oh, wow. Each element has such deep meaning. It seems like Brazilians are people who are both proud of their heritage and optimistic about their future.
They are.
But like any country, they face their share of challenges.
Of course, no nation is perfect.
For sure.
One of the most pressing issues Brazil is grappling with is deforestation in the Amazon.
Yeah,
It's a global concern since that rainforest is so vital to our planet's health.
that's a weighty issue. Is there any hope for the Amazon?
There is.
Okay.
Are there any efforts being made to address deforestation?
Yeah. Are they doing anything?
There are efforts, yes. Brazil's made strides in renewable energy focusing on biofuels and hydroelectricity to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and hopefully deforestation for energy.
Good.
They've also implemented stricter environmental regulations,
Oh.
but it's a constant battle between development and preservation.
It sounds like a complicated balancing act, trying to protect a crucial ecosystem while also ensuring economic growth and development.
Exactly. It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Right.
But the fact that Brazil is actively engaged in the conversation and taking steps to address deforestation is a good sign.
Okay.
At least they're not ignoring the problem.
That's true. Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Brazil's vast geography, its complex history, vibrant culture, and dynamic economy.
That's a lot.
It's a country full of surprises and contradictions, would you say?
Absolutely. That's what makes it so captivating.
Right.
It's a nation that's constantly evolving and defying easy definition.
Love it.
It's full of possibilities.
Speaking of possibilities, let's move on to a topic that Brazilians are absolutely passionate about.
What's that?
Sports. Ready to talk about the beautiful game.
Bring it on.
All right, so when you say Brazil, you say soccer.
You do?
Their national team is a force to be reckoned with, a 5-time World Cup champion.
5 times.
That's insane.
Their players must be national heroes.
They are.
Like Pele, Ronaldo, Neymar.
Oh, yeah.
Legendary figures who've inspired generations of Brazilians to dream of soccer stardom.
Iconic.
But it's not just soccer.
Oh, really?
Volleyball, basketball, and even Formula One racing have dedicated fans.
I heard that for Brazilians, soccer is more than just a sport.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
practically a religion.
It's a source of national pride, a way to connect with family and friends, and even a form of artistic expression.
Wow.
The passion Brazilians have for their sports is contagious.
It sounds like experiencing a soccer match in Brazil would be electric.
Oh, it is.
All that energy, the excitement.
Picture this, a stadium packed with screaming fans, a symphony of cheers and chants mixed with samba rhythms.
I can hear it now.
It's a celebration of sport culture and national identity all rolled into one.
That's amazing.
Is something else?
Wow, just imagining it gives me chills. And we can't forget about Brazil's stunning coastline and its vibrant beach culture.
Oh, for sure.
From the iconic Copacabana and Ipanema in Rio to the pristine shores of Bahia, they've got beaches for everyone.
Beaches for everyone.
But it's not just about sunbathing.
It's not.
Brazilians live and breathe beach volleyball, foot volley surfing, and all sorts of water sports.
You're active.
It sounds like paradise, soaking up the sun, enjoying the beach culture, and maybe even spotting a future soccer star practicing their skills on the sand. It's the perfect image of Brazilian life, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
It's a perfect blend of relaxation, energy, and passion,
Wow.
all set against a backdrop of breathtaking natural beauty.
You got it.
It's what makes Brazil so unique and alluring. I think we've covered the main points of this fascinating country.
I think we have.
Impressive geography, rich history, vibrant culture, and dynamic economy.
We hit all the high points.
We even touched on their political landscape, their passion for sports, and the challenges they face. It's been quite a journey.
It's been a pleasure diving deep into Brazil with you.
Couldn't agree more. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there are a few more intriguing aspects of Brazilian life I want to touch on.
Right.
So tell me, what else have you uncovered in your exploration of Brazil?
Well, I've been learning about how Brazilian society is changing.
Changing how?
It seems urbanization is a major trend,
Urbanization.
with people moving from rural areas to the cities in droves.
The big city.
That's a common trend in many developing nations.
For sure.
What's driving this urbanization in Brazil?
It seems to be a mix of things.
Right?
People are searching for better job opportunities, access to education and healthcare, and a more modern lifestyle.
That makes sense. Cities tend to offer more opportunities for advancement and a wider range of amenities.
Right.
But such rapid urbanization often creates its own set of challenges, doesn't it?
Such as?
It puts a huge strain on infrastructure, housing, and public services.
I see.
And it can lead to social and economic disparities between urban and rural populations.
It's a complex issue with no easy solutions.
You got that right.
But it's definitely an important one to consider as Brazil continues to develop and evolve.
Definitely.
Well said. And speaking of evolution, I've also been reading about how Brazil is tackling some of its environmental challenges.
Yeah.
We already touched upon deforestation in the Amazon,
Right.
but it seems they're making strides in other areas as well.
Tell me more.
Well, one area where Brazil is a global leader is renewable energy. They're investing heavily in biofuels, particularly ethanol from sugarcane.
Sugarcane.
And as I mentioned earlier, hydroelectricity plays a major role in their energy mix, with the Itaipu Dam being a prime example.
Right, the Itaipu Dam.
That's impressive. It seems like they're taking a multi-pronged approach to sustainability, addressing energy production, environmental protection, and social development all at once.
It's a holistic approach.
It's encouraging to see. It's a reminder that even in the face of complex challenges, there's always hope for progress and positive change. But before we get too carried away with optimism, I think it's important to acknowledge that Brazil, like any nation, has its share of social and political complexities.
Oh, for sure.
You're right, no country is without its internal struggles. What are some of the key issues that Brazil is grappling with?
Well, income inequality is a major
Naturally.
concern.
Income inequality.
Despite its economic growth, there's still a significant gap between the rich and the poor.
Right.
And corruption is another issue that has plagued Brazilian politics for years.
Eruption.
Those are definitely challenges that need to be addressed if Brazil is to reach its full potential.
I agree, but it's important to remember that these complexities are part of what makes Brazil such a fascinating and dynamic country. It's a nation that's constantly changing, striving to balance its rich history and vibrant culture with the demands of a rapidly changing world.
Well said, and that's what makes it so captivating to learn about. It's a country that defies easy categorization, full of contradictions and complexities, but always moving forward with this incredible spirit of resilience and optimism.
I think that's a perfect place to pause for. Now we've covered a lot of ground, But there's always more to discover about this incredible country.
Always more to learn.
So stay tuned, listeners. In part 2 of our Brazilian adventure, we'll delve even deeper into some of the more nuanced aspects of Brazilian life.
We'll get into the nitty-gritty.
We'll explore their unique approach to healthcare, their contributions to science and technology, and of course their love for music, dance, and all things festive.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great.
Can't wait.
Me neither. Welcome back to the Global Facts Podcast. We're continuing our deep dive into all things Brazil, and this time we're getting into some of the less talked about but equally fascinating aspects of this complex nation.
Right.
I'm particularly interested in their healthcare system. I heard it's quite unique.
It is. Brazil has a universal healthcare system.
Oh, wow.
Called the Sistema Único de Saúde, or SUS for short. It's publicly funded,
Okay.
meaning everyone has access to healthcare, regardless of their income or social status. So, it's like saying healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
That's pretty amazing. So everyone's covered for everything.
Well, in theory, yes.
Yeah.
The SUS aims to be comprehensive, covering everything from preventative care and primary care to specialized treatments and hospital services. Think of it as a safety net for the entire population.
That's a pretty ambitious goal.
Yeah.
How well does it work in reality?
Well,
I imagine a system that massive must have its challenges.
you're right. There are definitely challenges, like any large-scale public healthcare system.
Right.
The SUS has to contend with things like long wait times for certain procedures and variations in quality of care, depending on location and resources.
I see.
It's not a perfect system,
Right.
but it's striving to be equitable.
That's understandable. It sounds like a work in progress, but at least it's a step in the right direction, right?
It is.
Making sure everyone has access to essential health care.
Absolutely. And it's worth noting that Brazil has made some serious progress in improving overall health outcomes.
Like what kind of progress?
Life expectancy has increased, infant mortality rates have decreased, and access to basic healthcare services has expanded significantly so. While there are still hurdles to overcome,
Right.
they're definitely moving in the right direction.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
It seems like the SUS, despite its flaws, is making a real difference in people's lives.
It definitely is. It reflects their commitment to healthcare as a fundamental human right, which is a powerful statement.
I agree. Okay, so we've talked about healthcare, but what about Brazil's contributions to science and technology? Are there any areas where they're really pushing boundaries?
Brazil is actually becoming a hub for innovation, particularly in agriculture, aerospace, and renewable energy. They're not just consumers of technology anymore, they're creators.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I never really thought of Brazil as a tech innovator. Can you give me some specific examples?
Sure, take agriculture, for instance.
Okay, agriculture.
Brazil's leading the charge in developing sustainable farming practices.
Interesting.
They've pioneered techniques like no-till farming,
No-till farming.
which helps prevent soil erosion and protects biodiversity. They're thinking long-term.
I've heard of no-till farming, but I didn't realize Brazil was a pioneer in that area. It
Yeah.
sounds like a win-win, good for the environment and good for productivity.
Exactly, and it's not just about protecting the environment. These sustainable practices have also helped to make Brazil an agricultural powerhouse,
Okay.
boosting productivity and exports of things like soybeans, coffee, and sugarcane.
So they're feeding the world and protecting the planet at the same time.
They are.
That's impressive.
Oh.
What about aerospace?
Hmm.
I know Brazil's been involved in space exploration for a while now.
They're a founding member of the International Space Station program,
Wow.
and they have their own space agency called the Brazilian Space Agency, or AEB for short.
AEB, okay.
They're shooting for the stars, literally.
That's amazing. Have they launched any satellites or sent astronauts into space?
They've done it all.
Really?
They've launched several satellites for things like Earth observation and telecommunications.
Okay.
And in 2006, Brazilian astronaut Marcos Pontes became the first Brazilian to go into space. It was a huge moment of national pride.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Brazil's making its mark in so many different fields. Now, you mentioned renewable energy earlier, and we've talked about the Itaipu Dam,
Right.
but what other initiatives are they involved in?
Well, Brazil's a big believer in hydroelectric power,
Right.
but they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Okay.
They're also investing heavily in other forms of renewable energy like solar, wind, and biofuels.
So they're diversifying their energy portfolio.
They are, which is smart.
That's good. I'm particularly intrigued by their biofuels program. Can you tell me more about that?
Of course, Brazil is the world's leading producer of ethanol, a biofuel made mostly from sugarcane. They've developed advanced technologies for producing it efficiently and sustainably.
Interesting.
And it's now a major part of their fuel mix, Some cars even run entirely on ethanol.
Wow, that's a huge achievement, especially given our global reliance on fossil fuels. It sounds like Brazil is setting an example for other countries to follow.
They're definitely leading the way. And it's not just about reducing their dependence on fossil fuels.
Right.
It's also a way to boost their agricultural sector, create jobs, and promote rural development. They're thinking about the big picture.
That's a holistic approach to sustainability that many countries could learn from.
Okay.
Okay, so we've covered healthcare, science, and technology and sustainability, all really fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's time we tap into one of the most defining characteristics of Brazilian culture,
What's that?
their love for music, dance, and celebration.
Let's do it.
Brazil practically pulsates with rhythm, and their zest for life is contagious.
It is.
You can't help but be swept up in it.
You can't.
Music and dance seem like they're woven into the very fabric of Brazilian society. It's a way of life.
Exactly. It's how they express joy, connect with each other, and celebrate their incredibly rich cultural heritage.
Yeah.
And speaking of celebrations, we can't forget about Carnival.
Carnival.
It's one of the most iconic festivals in the world, drawing millions of visitors every year.
Carnival is practically synonymous with Brazil, isn't it?
It is.
The images are just iconic. Those colorful costumes, the pulsating music,
Yeah.
the sheer energy of the crowds. It looks like a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It really is. It's a time when people from all walks of life came together to sing, dance, and parade through the streets in these elaborate costumes.
Wow.
It's an explosion of Brazilian culture, and it's impossible not to get swept up in the energy.
I've added it to my bucket list.
You should.
But Carnival isn't the only musical expression Brazil is known for.
Right.
What about Samba and Bossa Nova?
Those are the classics.
Yeah.
Samba, with its pulsating rhythms and energetic dance moves, is basically Brazil's musical heartbeat.
Right.
It originated in the Afro-Brazilian communities of Rio and has become a global phenomenon.
And Bossa Nova has that cool, laid-back vibe.
Yeah,
It really transports you, doesn't it?
it does.
To like a beach somewhere.
Yeah. Bossa Nova is known for its smooth melodies, sophisticated harmonies, and often introspective lyrics.
Okay.
It conjures up images of sunny beaches, swaying palm trees, and that carefree Brazilian spirit. It's the perfect soundtrack for a tropical getaway.
It definitely is. But Brazilian music is so much more than just samba and bossa nova, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
There are all those other genres and regional styles that contribute to the country's musical tapestry.
For sure, from forró in the Northeast to sertanejo in the countryside. Brazil's music scene is incredibly diverse and always evolving.
Wow.
It's a reflection of their multicultural heritage, indigenous, African, and European influences all blending together.
It sounds like a musical journey that could last a lifetime. And it's not just music.
Right.
Brazilian dance is equally diverse and captivating.
You're right. From the high-energy samba to the graceful capoeira,
Capoeira.
which is a unique blend of martial arts dance and music, Brazilian dance forms are a testament to their creativity and love of movement.
Capoeira has always fascinated me. It's like a dance, a fight, and a cultural performance all in one.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Capoeira originated back in the 16th century among enslaved Africans in Brazil. It was a way to disguise their self-defense techniques as a dance.
Wow.
Over the centuries, it evolved into this captivating art form that combines athleticism, music, and storytelling. It's a powerful expression of their history and resilience.
It's amazing how they turned something born out of oppression to such a beautiful art form. Okay. I think we've covered the full spectrum of Brazilian culture, from healthcare to science, technology, and the arts.
I think we have.
What an amazing journey this has been.
It has, but before we wrap up this deep dive, it's important to remember that even a country as vibrant and full of life as Brazil faces its share of challenges.
Right. We touched on some of those issues earlier, but it's worth repeating that Brazil, like every nation, has its own social, economic, and political complexity.
Exactly. Issues like income inequality, corruption, deforestation, and crime are all ongoing struggles for Brazil. Finding solutions to these deeply rooted problems is crucial for their future.
It's a good reminder that even in a country as seemingly carefree as Brazil, there's always more going on beneath the surface.
Absolutely. But despite these challenges, Brazil still radiates the sense of hope, resilience, and belief in a better future. That's what makes them so special.
I agree. It's that indomitable spirit that makes Brazil so captivating and inspiring. They face so much adversity, yet they always emerge stronger, more vibrant, and determined to leave their mark on the world.
Well said. And with that in mind, let's move on to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore Brazil's future prospects, its role on the global stage, and that enduring spirit of optimism that seems to define them.
That's a great lead-in, listeners. Stay tuned as we embark on the last leg of our Brazilian adventure. We've got a lot more to unpack. Welcome back to the Facts podcast. For the final chapter in our exploration of Brazil, we've journeyed through their past, dissected their present, and now it's time to gaze into the crystal ball and ponder their future, what's on the horizon for this South American powerhouse.
Well, the future's never a sure thing, but Brazil has all the right ingredients for success.
What ingredients?
Abundant natural resources, a dynamic economy that keeps growing, and a vibrant culture that embraces diversity. They've got the potential to be a major player on the world stage.
They've certainly got a lot going for them, but we've also talked about the challenges they face. How do those obstacles factor into their future trajectory? Can Brazil overcome those hurdles and really become a global leader in the 21st century?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is,
It's a complex equation with so many variables.
for sure.
But let's try to break it down.
Okay.
What are some of the key factors that will shape Brazil's future?
Well, we've talked about income inequality.
Right.
It seems like closing that gap between the rich and the poor is crucial,
It is.
not just for social harmony, but for sustainable economic growth, too.
Absolutely. If a large chunk of the population is struggling to make ends meet,
Right.
it holds the entire economy back. It's like trying to run a marathon with a weight strapped to your ankle.
And it can lead to social unrest and instability.
Exactly.
Nobody wins in that scenario.
Nobody wins. Brazil needs to invest in education, healthcare, and social programs that create opportunities for everyone to climb the economic ladder. It's about creating a level playing field.
So it's not just about economic growth, it's about making sure that growth benefits everyone. What about corruption?
Yeah,
We touched on that earlier. How big of a hurdle is that for Brazil's future?
corruption is a huge problem, not just for Brazil, but for any country. It's like a termite infestation eating away at the foundations of society.
It really undermines everything.
It discourages investment, stifles innovation, and undermines the rule of law.
It creates a climate of distrust and uncertainty. It's hard to build a strong future on a foundation of corruption.
Exactly. Brazil needs to strengthen its institutions, promote transparency in government, and hold corrupt officials accountable, no matter how powerful they are.
Those are big tasks,
Yeah.
but essential if Brazil wants to attract foreign investment and compete on a global scale. They need to show the world that they're a reliable and trustworthy partner.
Right. And we can't forget about the environmental challenges. Protecting the Amazon rainforest is not just a Brazilian issue, it's a global imperative.
We've talked about the Amazon's vital role in regulating climate and preserving biodiversity. If that ecosystem collapses,
Right.
it'll have ripple effects across the planet.
Think of it as the lungs of the earth. We need those lungs to be healthy if we want to survive. Brazil has to find a way to balance economic development with environmental protection. It's a tough tightrope walk, but they have to find a way to make it work.
It's a challenge many countries face, finding that sweet spot between economic growth and environmental sustainability. But Brazil's in a unique position. They have the resources and the potential to be a leader in this area.
Yeah,
They could set an example for the rest of the world.
exactly. They could become a model for sustainable development, showing that it's possible to have a thriving economy without destroying the environment. That would be a powerful legacy.
So taking all of this into account, what's your overall outlook on Brazil's future?
Hmm.
Are you optimistic, pessimistic, somewhere in between?
I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic, okay.
Brazil has all the potential in the world to be a global powerhouse.
A powerhouse, okay.
A leader in sustainability, a champion for social inclusion, and a vibrant cultural force, but realizing that potential won't be easy.
I imagine not.
It'll require strong leadership, smart policies, and a commitment to progress from all levels of society.
It sounds like their future hinges on making tough choices, investing in the right areas, and tackling those deep-rooted problems head on.
It does, but let's not forget about the Brazilian spirit.
Oh yeah, their spirit.
Their love of life, their passion, their energy, their resilience, those qualities will be crucial as they navigate the challenges ahead.
It's that indomitable spirit that makes Brazil so compelling.
Right.
They've been knocked down before, but they always get back up stronger and more determined to succeed. It's inspiring, really.
I agree. And as we wrap up our deep dive into Brazil, I think it's fitting to leave our listeners with a question to ponder. Can Brazil harness its vast potential, overcome its challenges, and emerge as a true global leader in the 21st century?
It's a question only time will answer, but one thing's for sure. Brazil's journey will be fascinating to watch.
Absolutely. We encourage our listeners to continue exploring this incredible country, delve deeper into its complexities, uncover its hidden gems, and experience its vibrant culture firsthand. You won't be disappointed.
And for those who want to learn even more, we highly recommend checking out the book, 100 Amazing Facts About Brazil. From Samba to the Amazon forests. It's a treasure trove of fascinating insights.
It's a great starting point, and we'd love to hear from our listeners.
Yeah.
What intrigued you most about Brazil?
Yeah.
What surprised you? Share your thoughts and join the conversation.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of Brazil. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the spirit of discovery alive.